You're not here by accident. You didn't click this randomly. Something in you felt tight, restless, like your mind was already running before the video even started. Maybe it's late, the room is quiet, your phone is the only light, and your thoughts are louder than everything else. You keep telling yourself, you'll stop in a minute. After one more thought, one more replay, one more imaginary conversation you'll never actually have. And there it is, that familiar pressure in your chest. Not panic, just wait. You're thinking about something small, but it doesn't feel small, it never does. A message you sent, a tone you used, a pause that might have meant something, a future moment that hasn't happened yet but already feels dangerous. You tell yourself it's fine, you tell yourself you're just being careful, prepared, aware. But deep down, you know this feeling. This is the spiral warming up. You can feel your mind opening tabs. So many tabs all at once. What if they took it the wrong way? What if you missed something obvious? What if this one moment changed everything? And the worst part isn't the thinking. It's how convincing it sounds, how reasonable it feels, how necessary it seems to keep going. You don't trust silence, because silence feels like you're missing something. So you keep thinking, and thinking, and thinking. Even now, part of you is listening, and part of you is already somewhere else, ahead, behind, anywhere but here. You replay the past like it's unfinished business, as if one more analysis might finally give you peace, or control, or certainty. You imagine different versions of yourself, the one who said the right thing, the one who stayed quiet, the one who left earlier, the one who never got involved at all. And every version feels safer than the one you're currently living. You don't notice how tired you are. Not at first. You're used to carrying this noise. It's only when the world slows down that it hits you. At night, in bed, when distractions fade, your body wants rest. But your mind says, not yet. There's something important we haven't solved. So you stare at the ceiling or the wall or nothing at all. Your thoughts start whispering, then arguing, then looping. You rehearse conversations again and again. You imagine their reactions in perfect detail, their raised eyebrow, that pause before they respond. The subtle disappointment you swear you'd recognize instantly. You plan what you'd say back, how you'd explain yourself, how you'd fix it before it breaks, even when nothing is actually broken. You don't do this because you like it. You do it because your mind learned somewhere that staying alert equals staying safe. That if you just think hard enough, long enough, you can prevent pain. But no one told your nervous system when to stop. So it keeps going, long past usefulness, long past comfort. You feel responsible for everything, other people's reactions, other people's moods, outcomes that aren't even real yet. You carry tomorrow like it already happened. And yesterday like it's still happening. Sometimes you wonder what it would feel like to just not think, even for a minute. But that idea feels risky, almost irresponsible. What if something slips through? What if that's when things fall apart? So you stay awake inside your own head, standing guard, exhausted. You don't talk about this much because it's hard to explain. Because on the outside, you seem fine, functional, capable, put together. No one sees the hours you spend stuck in the same mental hallway, walking back and forth, checking the same doors. No one sees how heavy simple decisions feel, how long it takes to reply to a message, how much energy goes into preparing for things that may never happen. And you hate that about yourself sometimes. You wish you were lighter, quieter inside. You wonder how other people just move on, how they sleep, how they don't seem haunted by every little thing. You tell yourself you're just wired differently. But that explanation doesn't bring relief. It just makes you feel alone with it. Here's something no one says out loud. Your mind isn't broken, it's tired. Tired of carrying responsibility it was never meant to hold. Tired of being on call 24 hours a day. You've been asking it to predict the unpredictable, to control the uncontrollable. And it's been trying so hard. That's why it won't shut up. It thinks if it stops, something bad will happen, something you won't be ready for. So it keeps talking, even when you're begging it to be quiet. Right now, as you listen to this, there's a small part of you that feels seen, not fixed, not solved, just seen. And that matters more than you think. Because for once, you're not being told to calm down, or think positive, Or let it go, you're just here, with someone who understands the noise without needing to label it. Take a breath, not a deep one, just a normal one. You don't need to change anything yet. You don't need answers tonight. You can let the question sit beside you instead of inside you. There's a difference. You've spent so long inside your thoughts that you forgot what it feels like to sit next to them, to watch them pass without chasing each one. And no, this isn't a technique. It's just an observation. Right now, you're listening, and the thoughts didn't disappear, but they softened. Just a little. That's enough for this moment. You don't need to reach the end of the spiral tonight. You don't need to resolve the future. You don't need to rewrite the past. You've already survived every version of this night before, even the ones that felt endless. Let this moment be quieter than the last one. Not perfect, just quieter. You can stay here for a bit. You're allowed to rest without earning it. And even if your mind starts drifting again, that's okay. It always does. Just know this, you're not behind. You're not failing. You're not missing something everyone else figured out. You're human. And you've been carrying too much in silence. Let the silence carry you now. Just for a moment. You don't have to do anything else. Just listen. Not for answers. Not for relief. Just for the sound of another presence in the room. You're still here. And that matters even if your thoughts are already trying to pull you away again, back into analysis, back into meaning, back into what this all says about you. Notice how fast that happens, how your mind doesn't like empty space, it rushes to fill it. Silence feels suspicious to you, like a gap where something important could be lost, so your thoughts lean forward, alert, ready. They scan your memory, they scan the future, they scan you. Did I do something wrong? Did I miss a sign and should I have handled that differently? What if this leads to that? It's not fear exactly, it's vigilance. Like you're standing watch over your own life. You don't even remember when you took that job, being the guard, being the one who stays awake so nothing goes wrong. It feels noble, in a quiet way, responsible, mature, but it's lonely because no one ever told you you could sit down. No one ever relieved you of duty. So even when you're exhausted, you stay alert. Even when you want peace, you keep scanning, you don't trust calm. Calm feels temporary, like the quiet before something drops. So you rehearse, you prepare, you run scenarios. If this happens, I'll say this. If they react like that, I'll explain. If things fall apart, I'll already know how. You think this makes you strong, but sometimes it just makes you tired in a way sleep doesn't fix. You wake up already thinking, already behind, already bracing. And you tell yourself, tonight will be different. Tonight I'll relax. Tonight I won't do this. But night comes, and your mind recognizes the darkness as an invitation. No distractions, no performance. Just you and everything you didn't have time to think about during the day. That's when the old moments return. Not the big dramatic ones, the small ones. A look someone gave you. A sentence you replay with different emphasis. A moment that felt off, but you didn't know why. You wonder if it meant something more, if it revealed something about how you're seen. You don't want approval. You just want to know where you stand. Uncertainty is the hardest thing for you to sit with. Not knowing feels like danger. So you think your way around it, over it, through it, until your head hurts, until your chest feels tight, until you feel strangely far away from yourself. Sometimes you catch yourself imagining conversations that will never happen, apologies you were never asked for, explanations no one requested. You play both roles. You speak for yourself. You answer as them. You try to reach a conclusion where everyone understands you, where nothing is misunderstood, where you are finally safe to relax, but that ending never comes. Because real life doesn't resolve like a script. So the loop restarts. And somewhere in all of this, a quiet thought slips in. What if I'm the problem? You don't say it loudly. You don't dwell on it directly. But it's there. In the background. Maybe I think too much. Maybe I feel too deeply. Maybe I'm just too much. That thought hurts more than the anxiety itself. Because it makes you turn against your own mind. The same mind that's been trying to protect you all along. You wish you could switch it off? Or trade it? Or at least mute it. You've probably tried distractions, noise, scrolling, staying busy until you collapse. Sometimes it works. For a while. But the thoughts wait patiently. They always do. They don't leave. They just resurface when you're quiet again. And you're quiet now. But notice something. You're still breathing, still here, still listening. The thoughts didn't win anything by coming back. They're just present. They don't actually need to be answered tonight. They don't need closure at 2 a.m. They can exist without resolution, even if that feels uncomfortable. You've spent years believing every thought was urgent, every feeling a signal, every question a problem. But some thoughts are just echoes, old alarms that never got turned off. They sound convincing because they've been repeating for so long. Not because they're true. You don't have to argue with them. You don't have to silence them. You can let them talk while you stay here. There's a difference between thinking and being pulled. Right now you're not being pulled. You're sitting, listening, letting someone else hold the thread for a moment. That's rare for you, and maybe a little scary. If you stop thinking, who are you? If you stop anticipating what happens, those questions don't need answers. You don't disappear when you rest. You don't lose control. You just stop gripping so tightly, and your body notices that, even if your mind resists. That heaviness you carry, it's not because you're weak. It's because you've been strong for too long without relief. You've been the one who notices everything, who feels everything, who prepares for everything. That takes energy. Of course you're tired. Of course your thoughts feel loud when you finally lie down. Nothing is wrong with you for this. You adapted. You survived. You learned. You just never learned how to stop. Tonight doesn't have to be about stopping forever. Just slowing, just loosening. You don't need a breakthrough. You don't need a realization that changes everything. Those expectations are part of the pressure. You can let this moment be incomplete. Let your mind wander without following it. Let thoughts pass like cars you don't have to get into. Some will honk. Some will be loud. Some will slow down next to you, tempting you to climb in. You don't have to. You can stay on the sidewalk, watching. And if you do get pulled in again, that's okay too. You always come back eventually. Even now, something in you feels a little softer than before. Not calm, not peaceful, just less clenched. That's not nothing. That's your nervous system recognizing safety. Even briefly. You don't need to label this moment. You don't need to remember tomorrow. You can let it fade naturally. Like a quiet song you don't need to replay. You've spent so long trying to fix yourself. Tonight isn't about fixing. It's about allowing yourself to exist without pressure. For a few minutes, you're allowed to be unfinished, uncertain, unresolved. Life isn't waiting for you to figure it all out before it continues. It's already moving, and you're already part of it. You don't need to catch up. If your eyes feel heavy, you can let them close. If they don't, that's okay too. Rest doesn't always look like sleep. Sometimes it looks like not fighting. You can let go of the need to understand this video, to extract meaning, to decide what it says about you. It doesn't need to say anything. It can just be something that existed with you for a while. And now, as this moment comes to an end, there's no instruction, no takeaway, just a quiet permission. You don't have to overthink this. You can let it end gently. You're safe enough to rest, even if your mind keeps whispering, even if tomorrow brings new questions. Right now is enough. You are enough, and you don't need to do anything else.